Here we are near the very end of Debruary. I'm just so excited about that. This has just kicked my butt this year. I don't know. But I wanted to continue our discussion about dead end relationships. Unfortunately, it seems like most relationships are dead end relationships. As you look around, and I'm not being mean or facetious either. I'm seeing a lot of people who honestly, I'm real right now, honestly do not understand what dating is supposed to be about, nor do they understand what they are supposed to be looking for and how they're supposed to be going about looking for it. There's a lot of haphazard, nonsensical floundering their way through life, through employment, through relationships, through schools. And I'm like, what are parents doing out here? How are you directing your children? Because there seems to be a lot of young people, they're just like fresh out their teens who don't know what the hell they're doing. And their parents are not, really providing them the information that they need. And now it's one thing if you provide the information and your kids don't take advantage of it. That's one thing. There are some of those. But the majority of the kids that I come across don't know. So no one's telling them. That is why I do, a lot of what I say here may seem remedial to those of you who are more mature. And for that, I apologize. But you got to think about the millions of young people coming up who've never heard these things. No one has ever said this to them. They don't understand what they're supposed to be doing. They don't understand the power that they have, not only over themselves, but over their future. And I think we, excuse me, we, as the elders of the group, owe them that. We owe them that kind of support and that kind of information so that they can make better choices. So let's continue on. Yesterday, I went through the first 7 of 21, and I could have sworn it was 10, but whatever. So it's going to be a long video today. Went through the first 7 of some tips and ideas and clues, rather, that you are in a situation that's going to blow up in your face and crash you into the dead end wall. So now I'm going to continue on with picking up at point number 8. And this is what I call rowing the relationship boat. This is where you are doing everything. You're the active participant in the relationship, and your mate is just in it for the ride. They just sitting there, hands in their lap. They don't have an oar in their hand. They're not directing the boat. They're not helping row the boat. They're not even have their hand in the water helping to push it. They don't nothing. They're just riding along while you do all the work. You're the one that's reaching out. You're the one that's setting up dates. You're the one trying to get you two together. You're the one asking him to come over if you can go over there and spend some time with him. He does nothing. Even when you do call him, which I don't recommend women call men, he gives you the one word and the short answer. It just sounds like he just can't really be bothered with you on the phone. And you ultimately end up feeling like kind of like those caveman cartoons where the guy would drag the woman by the hair to his cave and he got his little bam bam, bat over his shoulder and stuff. That's kind of what it feels like to you, like you're dragging him along by his hair, trying to get him to become an active participant in the relationship with you. And you got to let that go. I mean, don't hang on so tight to stuff where it's obvious that the person's not into you the way that you would like them to be. Because, honey, when a man is really invested in you and interested in you and wants to be around you, you be trying to run from his ass. He can't get enough of you. Just sitting next to you, staring at you, makes him happy. So you ladies who doing all this work trying to get something going with these guys or keep something going, see, this is another example where parents should have stepped in and told you this. That is not a relationship. I don't know what that is, but you don't do that to yourself. You don't abuse yourself and your time and your energy. God, what's wrong with me? Why am I choking? Hold on a second. Let me get some water. You don't do that to yourself, trying to have a relationship with someone who doesn't want to have a relationship with you. Okay? Don't do that. Just let that go. Number 9, you don't trust him. Now, one of my earliest videos on this channel, I will try to remember to put a link to it because it's really old. It probably won't show up on the searches. It's probably about 8, 9 years old by now. Is about how can you love a man that you don't trust? Something like that is the title. So I keep meeting women who say, I don't trust him, this and that. And this is not only referencing cheating, other women and stuff like that. I'm talking about just trusting him to do things that he says he's gonna do, and to come through for you in the way that he said he was gonna come through. So that's why y'all have to have plan B and backup and plan C, X, D, and Y two squared and all that stuff, because you have men who are flaky, men who are irresponsible. You have men that make excuses why they didn't do the shit that they were supposed to be doing. And there you are, always rushing around trying to take care of everything by yourself. You're trying to do not only what you're supposed to do in a relationship, but what he's supposed to do in a relationship as well, to keep all the balls up in the air by yourself. Now you don't trust him to carry his load and to carry his end, because you know he's a fuck up. So it ultimately leads to you being put in a position where you don't feel secure in your relationship. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel safe and protected. And you're definitely not happy. I mean, who could be happy in a situation with a man like that, where you got to constantly check behind him and double check and, triple check and see if he did stuff, and then run around and try to do it yourself if he didn't, or half did it, or something like that. That relationship is going to go up in smoke, because at some point you are going to get tired of that. No matter how much you think you want the relationship, or how much you imagine yourself in love, nobody can carry that kind of weight by themselves for long. And you women who have been doing it for years, you the ones looking all toe up. You're overweight, your skin's all fucked up, your hair is breaking out, you look depressed, you're taking Prozac and shit, and drinking too much and smoking it. I mean, you're doing all this stuff to try to compensate for the fact that you have a man that you don't trust. And it's just that simple. You don't have confidence in him to be the person that you need him to be. There's no belief in him. So again, why are you there? Okay. Number 10, his dick game is whack. It's just a whack status. Oh my God. Now sometimes, it was always that way, and you thought that it would get better after, you two learned each other's interest or whatever. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes, it started off with like firecrackers, and then, things just fell off. The passion kind of dried up, the frequency went away, and you sitting there wondering what happened. Or maybe you're in a situation like the ladies discussed last week in the video, who found out that their men were on some buy stuff that they didn't really sign on for. The dudes waited until they was engaged and all this sort of stuff to spring that mess on them. So now that you find out he's on some other stuff, you really don't want to be intimate with him, because it's a confusing situation for you. But bottom line is, whatever's going on, you're bored or confused, or don't really want to be too close to him in bed, and so you make excuses not to get busy, and sometimes he seems relieved when you do. Okay. That's that's a relationship that's not going anywhere. And sometimes you also find out, like the women last week, that the dude that you love has some weird habits, or he has some strange addictions, and you know what I'm talking about. So you you love him, like a part of you loves him, but you're so confused and hurt, and you don't know which way is up anymore, and how you got in a situation. So everything you tend to pull back, and that relationship is most likely not going to survive. Number 11, this dude is your project. Oh my God. Why do so many women want to? I mean, y'all need a hobby. Pick up a paintbrush or a crochet hook or some knitting needles or something. Do something with yourself. Take up cake baking and decorating, or flower potting, or whatever they call it, pottery making. Do something creative where you have something to show for it at the end. Y'all get with these scallywag piece of men, and you try to create something beautiful and wonderful and strong and gorgeous out of them, and it never works. You just run around doing the things for him that he needs to be doing for himself. You up there propping him up. You want to nurture him. You want to caretake him. You want to support it. And the worst ones are the women who have men who don't do crap, and they be running around like, I take care of my man. I do this and that. And you sound like a fool. Stop saying that. Oh my God, every woman who I've ever heard say that, I just want to choke the shit out of her. Stop taking care of a man. He's supposed to be taking care of you. You got the shit twisted. And these women, you giving all the support, and you provide, and you doing everything. And he's still a loser even after you do all of that. So you try harder. You try new things. You refuse to give up. You think if you just love him a little bit more, that you'll finally win and he'll finally become the man that you need him to be. And I'm going to tell you something my dad told me. You do all that stuff for a man, right? You do all that, you get him to where you imagine that he should be. And you trying to force him to realize this potential that you imagine that he has. So just say he does, achieve that. He gets all the success that you set him up to have. Do you know he's going to leave you anyway? You know why he's going to leave you? He's going to leave you because he's going to resent you. He's going to be angry at the fact that he was such a punk ass, kind of weak man that he needed a woman to get to where he was supposed to be as a man, where he's supposed to know he's supposed to be by himself. He knew he couldn't do it because he's a weak punk ass. So he had to have you help him. So you know how every time he looks at you, he's going to see his failure just smiling back at him. And he's going to leave you. And it's not necessarily because of, well, I mean, it is because of what you did, but not, it's just a different way. It's not, an overt thing. He's doing it because looking at you makes him feel bad. It reminds him of his failure. It reminds him of his weakness. So you cannot do that. You cannot be taking care of these men like this, ladies. You have to stop doing that. If he's going to fail, then let his ass fail. If he's going to get up, he needs to rise up like a damn phoenix from the ashes that he created of his life, and then he'll be all right. But you can't do that for him. You all need to stop trying. Okay, men are not projects. They're people. They're sometimes good people, sometimes not. But either way, he needs to handle his business himself, and you need to step back. Number 12. Even though, sometimes you don't even have dates, but the dates you do have are stupid. Okay. Now, this was just recently I became aware of the fact that these young people have these kind of dates where, like, the girl will come over to his house, a dorm or whatever, in his apartment or whatever, and watch him play video games. And I'm like, what is that? What is that supposed to be? I was talking with some young college students about it. So, oh yeah, that's what we do. And then, we have beers or whatever, and we talk about the game, and he tells us how to play, and sometimes he lets us play with him, but we're not really good at it. So usually he plays with himself or he plays with a friend, and I just sit there. I'm thinking, shit, I wish I would. Okay, and this is like to me, it's on the same level as that, Netflix and chill nonsense. It's like you're not really interacting with him. I mean, that's great if you're husband and wife. You know what I mean? You just happy to have a quiet moment where you can not have to take care of some kids or something. But if for a date where you're just really getting to know someone, no, no. Just don't settle for stuff like that. That's stupid. And if that's the only kind of date you guys are having, please understand that that's a relationship of convenience, and it's all about some butt, and you are just wasting your time with that man. You just like, a call up booty service or something. I don't understand what y'all be thinking. Number 13. He won't give you the level of commitment or involvement that you're looking for. You've tried everything to get this man to commit to you. Usually for most women that means propose. You tried fancy lingerie, as they say. You done had babies for the fool. You went from cover to cover through Cosmo, doing all the stuff they said to do to hook a man, be a freak of the week. You cooking, you cleaning, you giving to him. You taking care of his other kids by his other baby mama. You sacrificing yourself. You doing everything for his mother that he should be doing. You doing all kind of stuff, just being his servant and just over giving to him. But he still won't propose. And so why do you stay? I mean, what are you doing all that for? That's too much work. And sometimes it's even the guy was real clear that he never really was thinking about marriage. He said that up front. I'm not really the marrying kind. I don't really, understand what that's all about. What we need marriage for is just a piece of paper. Why bother getting married? Because 50% of relationships ended, marriages ended in divorce anyway, blah, blah, blah. Okay, he's making noises like that. He's either running game or he's giving you a warning. But either way, if you want to be somebody's wife, that's a goal that you have for yourself. You want to have your children within the confines of marriage. You want to walk down the aisle. You want to wear the dress. I mean, this is your dream, right? This is what you want for yourself, for your life. You're not going to get it from him. That's what he's telling you. I'm not on that page with you. I'm not even that book. But yet, you stay. And most of the time, y'all stay because you think, he's going to see how good it is to be with me, and he's going to change his mind. Okay, so then now we come to my question. And then what? If you missed that video, go back and check it out. And then what? Okay, so you do all this, and then what? What if he never changes? Then what? See, you done wasted years of your life on a man who straight told you from the get-go, I'm not interested in what you're talking about. So, y'all do that to yourselves, and I'm asking you to please stop. Number 14. This is kind of an obvious one. One or both of you is cheating. Okay, so this is the deal. So you in a relationship, right? You with somebody that you allegedly care about. But here you are over here developing an emotional or physical attachment to someone else. How does that work? How does that keep the relationship that you claim you have with this person that you claim you care about? How does that, enrich that and bring it along and make it better and deepen the connection? And all those things are supposed to be going on if a relationship is on the track to being something wonderful. This is a major sign. Yet a lot of you will, he's cheating, and you be like, well, let's go to counseling. You don't go to counseling when you're dating somebody. That's for husbands and wives. You ain't married. Take your ass on somewhere. And, if he wants to be over there with somebody else, or you want to be over there with somebody else, have the decency to break up. Just understand what that means. You're not interested in this person anymore. Not the way that you were. So let it go. I mean, what is the problem people have with letting go and moving on? I just don't get it. This is one a lot of people don't think about. Number 15. You have a man, right? When it's private time, he's Mr. Sexy. He just all over you, and that's all he can think about. But when you're in public or around other people, he refuses to engage in any sort of public displays of affection known as PDAs. He doesn't do any PDAs. He won't even hold your hand hardly. He won't wrap his arm around you. He won't let you hold on to his arm. He won't kiss. He won't cuddle. He just acts like, you two could be like brother and sister or something. Probably less than that. Because even my brother, we're walking, he'll walk next to me, put his arm around me or something, maybe give me a little hug or whatever. And then, like knuckle me on the head. I mean, it's brotherly, sisterly affection. It's not no romantic thing. But it still communicates to the people in our vicinity that we are close to each other. We're smiling at each other, we're laughing, talking smack to each other, this kind of thing. You have a man that you're sleeping with, and he won't engage in any PDAs with you. So he refuses to let other people see how he feels about you. See, that's a problem. And you got a situation where when a man is proud of his woman, he wants everybody to know that they're together. He can't get enough of holding her hand and touching her cheek and patting her hair, rubbing her back and doing all that stuff. He's like constant physical contact with you, and it's done in a manner that communicates affection. Okay, it's affection that you can tell, and so can anybody who's watching this go on. But if you have a man who won't do any of that to you or for you or whatever term you want to use, that is a major clue that what you have is something that's not going to last too much longer. He's putting up some very strict boundaries between the two of you, and you need to understand what time it is. Because if he really wanted to show everybody that he was with you, he would do it in public as well as in private. So if the treatment between private and public is very different, you should need to understand what time it is. As I remember, this guy I was dating. This was a long time ago, and we went downtown. I'm not downtown. We were down in San Francisco on Union Street because that's where he used to buy his clothes. Boyfriend bought some expensive ass clothes. That was the first time I'd heard about Egyptian cotton shirts. And so we're down on Union Street, and he goes into the store that he always goes to, and he was with me, and so the guy's like, oh, who's this? She's beautiful, this and that, blah blah blah. And so as we were walking out the store, right on Union Street now, he grabs me and lays this deep, just ridiculous, like breathtaking tongue kiss on me right now. It totally caught me off guard. I was like, what? But it was like, my heart was racing. I couldn't see straight. My knees felt weak. I mean, he was a good kisser. So, I was like, oh, well, damn, really? It's like that, huh? And then he was just like smiling. People going by were grinning at us and everything. It was very cute. And, that's how he was. So see, that's what I mean. Your dude might not have to do all that, but you know what I mean? He's at least going to hold your hand to do something. Okay, number 16. You let your life go because you want to focus on him. You put your stuff aside in favor of him. So here you are, you done dropped all your hobbies, or you never got any because you want to make sure you was always available for him. You don't have any interests. You have no life other than him. You go to work and you come home and you be focused on what he's doing. And so he never has to do anything. He never has to make any kind of effort to woo you, to seduce you, to romance you, because you all up in his face all the damn time. The dude, he never gets a chance to miss you. If anything, he's running away from you, not toward you. And you put your entire life on hold, wait for him to call or to come around. And it just, you give the men too much power when you act like that. And you communicate that you're just too insecure and you're too needy, and he doesn't have to do anything really to get you because you're there like Johnny on the spot, just running there. Hi, here I am, take me. That's you. And men need to. I'm sorry, men need to put forth some effort. If they don't have to put forth any effort in anything, they lose interest in it quickly. You who act like this, you just asking for him to dump you because you doing too much. You just doing the most, and you need to stop it. Have to have a life. You need to have your life and let him try to find a place to fit into it. Stop just putting your life on hold to make him your life. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do it to him. It's not interesting to men. It just makes them get sick of you. Okay, and it just makes the relationship just go up in smoke. Okay, number 17. His money is funny, but ain't nobody laughing at that shit. So, here you are, you got a broke man. You got a man who got some interesting habits. Maybe he's a gambler, maybe he does drugs, maybe he's just fiscally irresponsible. There's so many different variations on the theme there. But whatever the reason is, he's got some financial instability going on, and he's always borrowing money, or he needs help, or we need to hold some money till payday and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so you got this going. This is supposed to be your man. It's supposed to be your rock. He ain't even a fucking pebble. Okay, you are holding him, you doing everything for him once again, but this time you involving your wallet. And why are you even going down this road? Because that's going to get on your nerves. What woman wants to support a grown man? I mean, people be like, well, we need to help each other. I borrowed money from him before, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, and what's that got to do with him always needing money from you? He's a man. He's not supposed to get money from a woman. If he needs some money, he's supposed to go get it from some other dudes. Not from a lady, not from his woman especially. Not from his mama, not from his sister. No woman is he supposed to be turning to for, quote, help. That's a man thing. And his ass need to go to a bank and get a loan. I go to the check cashing place and get a loan. I don't care where he get the money from. But don't ask me for shit. Don't ask me for no money. Because then in my eyes, you're not a man. You done lost respect. And once I lose respect for you, and because I have to treat you like a child, like I'm giving an allowance to you or something, I don't want to fuck you because I'm not a pedophile. So it's like I can't deal with a man who acts like that. And I don't know how you guys do either. I just can't have any respect and would never be turned on by a guy who I had to treat like that, or even try to put me in a position to treat him like that. Turn off immediately. Okay, and then we're moving on. Number 18. This is very important because a lot of you don't realize this is happening. Your relationship is what I call compartmentalized. What that means is it's like in a little box. It's in a certain box where only the two of you are. The online relationship is a perfect example. I never understood it, but I met a lot of teenagers who say, oh, that's my online boyfriend. Girlfriend, you don't have a boyfriend. You have some, like what we used to call a pen pal back in the day before the internet, that you write to and talk to or whatever, but there's no relationship there. You ain't even met the fool. You've never kissed him, you never hugged him, you never touched him, you never looked him in his face, you never had an argument with him face to face, nothing. So how can that be a boyfriend? You haven't even gone to the movies with him. I mean, really? That's your boyfriend. So that's one kind of example of a box. And another box is when they keep you away from their friends and family. Okay? You has been dating somebody 3-6 months, whatever, and you haven't met not one of his friends or not one of his family members, and you think that's normal? That's not normal. And some of you haven't introduced him to yours either. Your relationship is really seriously just about the two of you, like you're the last two people on earth or something. That is a bad sign, because once again, I mean, if you're going to be a part of his life and he's going to be a part of yours, you're going to need to integrate the people that are part of your life into your relationship. He has to become a part of their life as well, because they are important to you. So once those kind of boundaries are up and your relationship goes into a little box like that, There's really no there's no coming out of that. He's doing that on purpose. He's doing that for a reason. He doesn't want other people to know about you. So you better understand what time it is. I mean, unless they live in a foreign country or something like that. But we're talking about people that his mama's right across town and stuff. His friends, everybody, and nobody's he's not introduced you to anyone. That's a problem. Number 19, you forget about him if he's not all up in your face. Now, I'm not a big one for the phone. I be busy. I will lay my phone down or turn it off and not be bothered for a day or two. But most people who are couples, they think about each other during the day. They want to they text each other hi or a funny face or a meme or something. I mean, there's going to be some kind of connection. They might call, how's your day, babe? What you eat for lunch, babe? What you want for dinner, babe? What time you be home, babe? That kind of stuff. There's some kind of contact anyway. Or, stop and pick this up at the store. I miss you. I love you. They're going to be doing something like that. Now, if you don't think about him at all, and he don't think about you at all, and y'all don't reach out to talk to each other, text each other, or something like that, nothing at all, that's a sign. And it's even worse a sign is if you do think about him and you roll your eyes or you do that curly lip thing. That lip. I'm talking about that twisty lip thing. You do a face like that. That's an even worse sign. And so I don't know. Your relationship probably got like a week or two to live, and then it's gonna be dead. Number 20, the main reason that you stay with him is the time that you already stayed with him. This comes about because there's so many women, like they write my advice column, right? They be like, oh, it's not really working, but, once they say but, it's on. But I've been with him for so long, I hate to feel like I wasted all that time. My time. And so what they're going to do is, waste even more of it because they're going to stay with this man who's a sucker. And it's like, he's a knucklehead. You know that what he's offering and what y'all got going on is not making no sense. It's not giving you what you claim you want. It's making you upset. You fight all the time. You're not really happy. Why are you there? And but I don't want to waste all the time, all the years that we've spent. So, essentially what you all be doing is you want to throw years of your life away because you've thrown years of your life away. See how that works? Does that make any sense? This is you just being a coward and you're being lazy. And I don't really know what to say about that, but these are people who would rather choose the boring and unsatisfying because it's familiar rather than step out and go with something the unfamiliar and the new. They have the security with what's familiar versus taking a risk on getting everything that they want but possibly losing. They aren't willing to take the gamble. They like the sure thing. Even if it's not making them happy, they already know what to expect, so they would rather stay there than give that up and try something new. I'm just the opposite. I will toss that shit in a heartbeat and be off down the street talking about, well, what you got going on? And if that's not really what I want, you're not it. Go on to the next one. And life is like that. It's an adventure, but you have to be willing to experience the adventures that come your way. If you just want to hide in a hole and just to feel safe and protected, even if you're miserable, well, there's nothing much I can do for you, and you're just gonna be on your own in that little cave. I can't help you. But most people will eventually get tired of being in the cave of misery, and they'll step out. And then here's the last one. The things that he does or says you basically just piss you off or disgust you. You give him the side eye because he's talking some crazy conversation. Like I heard an example yesterday, right, on KBLX, and it was the afternoon drive, so it's probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm driving on 580, and this guy comes on the radio, and he's doing this, what do they call it? This thing where you have to talk for 10, no ums, no ahs, no pauses. It's this game they play on the radio. So he gives you a topic, and then you have to talk about it for 10 seconds without saying ah, or pausing. And then you win tickets to some, event or show or something. So this guy was talking, and he talked about his thing. So at the end, the DJ says, well, tell me about what you like and this and that. And they were talking about different kinds of animals being mixed or something. And this is what that nignog said. Well, I think it's good to be mixed because the best looking people are mixed. That's what he said on the radio. And the radio stations in the Bay Area have millions of listeners. They got audiences of millions. So I'm sitting there looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, see now if I knew that guy, like if I was dating that guy and he said something like that, I would be through with him. That's one of them side eye things. And it's like, what are you talking about? All these beautiful black women and Asian women and Latino women, everybody, their own their solid nationality of what they are, Puerto Rican, Jamaican, Cuban, whatever they are. And he says the best looking people are mixed. Now, honey, I know some mixed folks that are a hot mess. They got, so I don't know what happened. They know something really bad went on there. But I just thought it was really interesting that he said that, and that would be something that would make me give him the side eye. And I'm sure you can probably think of some crazy stuff men have said that made you give him the side eye too. But then when when people say stuff like that and you end up giving them the side eye, you lose respect. You lose respect for a man, and a man who does not have his woman's respect has nothing. You have nothing. I mean, she can't even love you if she doesn't respect you, because to her you're a chump, you're a loser, you're a piece of shit on two legs. And so, something like that, I would understand that this guy, he doesn't really like himself very much. And I don't want to be with someone who has low self-esteem and doesn't like themselves very much. I don't even want to be around people like that, because like I said in a video a couple of days ago, that shit might be catching. And I ain't trying to catch that. So, anyway, those are my ideas. Now, there's nobody saying that this list is all inclusive. It's only 21 things. No one's saying that this list is the end all and be all. This is Deborah's list. Okay, this is merely my opinion and based on my observations in my almost 30 years in the relationship business. I just don't, these are some things I think that women could save themselves a lot of trouble if they recognize these things right away from your teens through your 50s. When you see these kind of things manifesting in your relationships, understand what it means and that it's time to let that go. There's a bazillion men out here. Most of them are knuckleheads. They're going to have some kind of knucklehead trait. What my grandmother told me and my cousins is all men are basically the same. What you have to do is find one who's got the level of fucked upness that you can tolerate. Because she's like, you wait for the perfect man, you're going to be waiting forever. But you have to just find one who has the bad habits and the knuckleheaded traits that you can tolerate, and then that's who you get with. And so, and I have found those words to be very, very accurate. But these kind of things here, ladies, this kind of stuff will make you miserable. So you have to really weigh the kind of stuff. And I'm thinking she means like maybe he's not a good cook, or you want 5 kids, he only wants 2, or some little stuff like that. But you can't have these major divides in morals and values and behaviors and life goals and things like that, and values that you want to live your life with. If a man whose purpose and goals in life are so contrary to yours, is going to make you miserable. You're going to be just a very unhappy person. You cannot do this to yourself. Please don't. So you see this stuff, go listen to this again, make notes if you need to, and then be on the lookout for when you see these signs in the next guys that you date, and learn to let go sooner rather than later. Definitely before you start having kids, getting married, and getting all in love and all too wrapped up with these guys. Pay attention to what's going on with him, what he's saying, and how he's treating you. Don't brush stuff aside. Don't just think it'll get better later. It's not. If anything, it's going to get worse. All right. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. I'll be back tomorrow with the last video of February, all in March, just running late as I told y'all I was going to be on CP time. Don't be acting surprised. But anyway, I'll get it done. It'll be done. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.